This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Well, it has long been speculated that Digicel will be one of the front runners to enter the telecommunications market as the process of liberalization is presently underway.
Head of Digicel's board of directors, P.J. Mara, confirmed with our Janaea Noel Ferguson today that Digicel hopes to be the successful bidder.
One of the region's largest telecommunication providers says it's ready to become BTC's top competitor. One of the directors on the board of Digicel, P.J. Mara, says they're only waiting on a response from the government to expand their region-wide services to the Bahamas.
There would be an interest by Digicel, yes, in coming here. We would be interested. So we're waiting for the government to bring forward their proposals, and then we'll deal with that, and we'll go back and have discussions with the government out there, whoever they appoint.
Last week, Prime Minister Perry Christie said that a number of telecom giants have stated their interest in the market, but noted that none of them were American companies. He added that the company that would be selected has to be able to provide coverage nationwide, the same way that BTC does. Mara said it was unclear at this point how Digicel would compare to BTC.
I don't know. I mean, you know, we're not monopolists in any market we're in. We have competition from people who've been there a long time, from new entrants. So the
Digicel executive said they entered a similar situation in Jamaica and they are doing well. And if Digicel is granted the second license to operate in the Bahamas, he anticipates that they will have the same outcome.
Caveman Wireless with the monopoly company, and we came in, we compete with them. They're still there operating, and we're operating. So this happens around the world.
And how do you measure up in Jamaica coming into a monopolized situation?
Well, we came into Jamaica before, and we did well, and we would hope we would do well here.
And as preparations are being made for liberalization in the Bahamas, Secretary General of the International Telecommunications Union, Dr. Hudan Torre, says the sharing of best practices from others in the region will brace the Bahamas for the inevitable.
The Caribbean region has some very good examples that can be shared with Bahamas, and Bahamas also can contribute in the overall debate as well. And I've seen Prime Minister talking last night. He's got some fantastic ideas about putting the pressure on the private sector to compete. Competition is a key solution for moving forward. And Prime Minister has really some.
Prime Minister Perry Christie has earlier reported that the new entrant into the telecommunications sector is expected to be revealed 6 months after a request for a proposal is issued. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, for the fourth time in its history, Canto, the region's premier telecommunications organization, is holding its annual conference here in the Bahamas.
Now, the group plans to address a number of issues, including mobile data and broadband development, and officials believe the Bahamas is the perfect backdrop for those deliberations.
Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie delivered the keynote address at last night's official opening. Altaviz Munnings was there.
In his keynote address during Sunday's official opening ceremony of Canto's 30th Annual Convention and Trade Exhibition, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie, the minister responsible for electronic communications, explained the government's intention and success in regaining a 2% majority stake in the Bahamas Telecommunications Company. The Prime Minister admitted that a full report to the Bahamian people on the definitive arrangement to a trust foundation is pending, and an official public joint announcement will be made by the government and CWC this month. The Prime Minister then alluded to the challenges facing BTC's network to the dismay of its customers. He revealed that CWC Chair Phil Bentley, while in Nassau last week Thursday, approved $65 million in capital development to be spent by BTC this year. Mr. Christie described it as BTC's largest single-year capital development budget.
But these monies will be spent to address the mobile drop calls, the slow data speeds, and fixed lines. I'm also told that BTC will begin its trials on IPTV by Christmas of this year. The alpha and beta testing will begin in the Family Islands with a 2015 rollout in Nassau.
Then there's the government's plan to issue a second wireless provider license to liberalize the telecommunications industry. The Prime Minister informed conference delegates that his administration appointed a task force that is currently finalizing a request proposal for potential bidders.
At the close of the RFP submission period, a two-phase competitive selection process will take place, with Phase 1 consisting of a technical and financial assessment, and Phase 2 consisting of a spectrum auction that will be carried out by IRCA. I would also like to take this opportunity to note that my government has the option to consider the issuance of a third mobile license after April 2016.
In addition to the conference sessions, which end on Wednesday, delegates will get the opportunity to participate in Canto's first ever Human Resources and Marketing Forum, which will take place on Thursday and Friday. They will also get a chance to visit the trade exhibition, which will showcase wares from various telecommunication vendors from throughout the region. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
In related news, last week, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company was fined nearly $250,000 by IRCA after being found in breach of the Communications Act and essentially preventing fair market access to its competitors. Systems Resource Group Limited, a subsidiary of Cable Bahamas, filed a complaint against BTC, claiming that the company couldn't sell its Indigo calling cards to some wholesalers because of an exclusivity agreement with BTC. BTC has until Wednesday to make changes to those agreements. BTC CEO Leon Williams told ZNS News that the company's legal team is reviewing the matter.
Our legal counsel is looking at the fines for IRCA and seeing how best we can match it. But you have to remember that this was 2 years ago, so it's a work in progress. The fine just happened, but the issue started 2 years ago.
Coming up, a group of new leaders take over a political youth arm.
And more highlights from the Summer of Thunder. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, live.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Sieska Adderley. A leading accountant says compliance with the Foreign Accountant Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA, has presented challenges for some institutions. Lawrence Lewis, a partner at the Deloitte & Touche accounting firm, said a number of Bahamian entities have already registered on the Internal Revenue Service's website, but nowhere near the number that is ultimately expected. FATCA, which targets tax non-compliance by U.S. taxpayers with foreign accounts, requires foreign banks to hand over data on American clients to the IRS. If the bank doesn't report on this information, the bank can get hit with a 30% withholding tax. In other business news, a new Providence farm specializing in pigs reopens after Melia Nassau Beach Resort pledged its commitment to local farmers. Cadrington Colby and his wife Karen's farm has grown to 50 piglets since restarting just 3 months ago. The resort provides table scraps and peels along with buying pork product from the local as part of the hotel's commitment to a farm-to-table and sea-to-table local sourcing program. And in international news, 2 Brazilian companies have made a $600 million bid for U.S. banana group Chiquita. Juice maker Cottrell and conglomerate Safra have offered $13 a share. Chiquita's share jumped 31% in New York after the bid was announced. The merger would create the world's largest banana company worth $1 billion. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Sia Scatterley.